It's your girl Tina from Tina B Fashions. So today I have like a personal alteration, I guess you can say. Alright, I have this Victoria's Secret bra, and as you can see, these bras are lovely. It doesn't matter if you hand wash them and air dry them. Anything with lace, as you can see, or netting will eventually begin to deteriorate. So if you've shopped at VS before, you know these bras are not cheap. So what we're going to do today is go ahead and replace it. I had to find another scrap fabric, so you'll see in a moment. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and begin picking away the band, because the band is the only part that I need to replace. I'm going to go ahead and start taking that loose tediously so I can open it up, get a pattern, draft a pattern out of that. And I really didn't have any hands-on fabric to use. So in this video, I decided to use fabric that was left over from an alteration. It was a dress that I hemmed. I'm actually going to use the lining because the lining had a nice stretch to it, but it was black. And you'll see here that it really goes together and it works. So you do want to pick a fabric that's very similar or close to, or has like the same give when you're doing this alteration for yourself, if you decide to do it. Okay, I'm just peeling back the wire channel, releasing that and getting that out of the way so we can open it completely up. I had already did one side, so this is just the other side, and I decided I'm not going to reattach the Victoria's Secret tag. I'm just going to leave it off because it has nothing to do with the function of the bra, and now that it's altered, I guess you can't really call it a VS bra. Anywho, so picking it loose, and I'm just going to take that channel off just till I release the band. Alright, so now I have the band release. I'm inspecting that lace part. Eventually that would need to be replaced, but I'm not going to replace it in this video because of course it's fine. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I'm just laying it out. Here is that piece of satin. It's like a satin lining, but it's not really satin stretch. So there's like a polyester give to it. And I'm just laying it flat, and I'm going to cut out the same width of my band. Just using my chalk to chalk it out. But I'm not changing anything with the sizes. I'm not adding seam allowance here because when I stitch this, I'm going to stitch that same elastic over the exact same spot. So the width and everything is perfectly fine. I fold it over just so I have it even on both sides. You see now I'm just going to cut out that mesh, which is going to separate those pieces of elastic, but that's fine. We can get rid of that. I want to say cheap mesh, but we're going to get rid of the deteriorating mesh. I'll say that. And then we're going to get ready going over to the sewing machine. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to stitch this up. I'm going to use two different machines in this video. I'm going to use my industrial sewing machine just to make this a little bit quicker. That foot that I'm using on here is actually a Teflon foot. At the time I could not find my other foot. I did find it after this video, but the Teflon just makes sure that it's not sticking. Like if you're sewing something that is a little sticky, like I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Anyways, the Teflon helps. This coated foot helps guide without giving you issues. So just taking my time, I am just sewing a straight stitch. Now you know it stretches, like the elastic stretches. So I'm not using this as a structural stitch. I'm using it just to hold my elastic in place. But I am going to go take this to the next machine, which is the cover stitch machine, which would sew this properly and allow it to stretch without my stitches popping. But this is just basically kind of like me basting it in place, but instead I'm just using the machine. So you'll see how I turn it over. So I did the bottom part, now I'm getting ready to do the top. So I'm just checking it, and I'll flip it over. I'm going to do the same thing to the top. And I'm making sure that when I'm sewing this elastic back on, my cups and everything are going to be on this, like the right side. I'm not getting the bra twisted at all. Let me do this other side real quick. Okay, so now I am almost done into this end. Then we're going to move over to my cover stitch machine to do the top stitching, and then we'll come back to the industrial machine. You'll see here I'm just checking to make sure that I grab the top of that lace piece, everything's centered. It's going to look really good. I'm not going to have holes in my bra. That's all I care about, and that it's still functioning. I would kind of hate to throw a bra away just because, like, something simple like the waistband, when the actual cups and everything else and straps are all good. Now, if it was just the straps, that would be an easier fix too. Alright, here I am at the cover stitch machine. I am just doing a stitch straight across on both sides, and this is going to keep everything in place, and when the band stretches around my waist and underneath my bust, I don't have to worry about my stitches popping, because I want it to be able to have some kind of give for comfort. Like, you wouldn't want to use cotton fabric for this part, obviously, because there's no stretch. You could use spandex, you could use nylon from like swimwear. You could use, like I'm using lining. You could even use knit, like a t-shirt knit, if you didn't have this. Anything that has a slight give. And honestly, I just chose to use black because I found the scrap in my scrap bucket and thought it was perfect. But it's a bra. You could have used any color. You could go as far as getting a different lace and recovering the whole bra cups and everything and changing the color completely if you had chose to do this. This is just a quick fix for me. Alright, I had to do a little pull because I got stuck in the beginning. Anyways, so we're just sewing down the other side, and this is the only part that I'm using a cover stitch for. If you don't have a cover stitch machine, you can hook up your regular residential machine to do a double needle, and that would be good for a stretch stitch. Or you could do a simple zigzag, and a zigzag would hold the position for you just as well. Okay, now I'm back. What I'm doing is removing the wire because I don't want this needle to pop in my face. I've had needles pop me in the chest before, and it's not nice. So I remove the wire, and I have lined up where my waist strap is going. You'll see that I'm pinning it, is going onto the bra, because we're going to sew the channel for the wire to go back into the bra, back exactly the way it was. So however you took it apart is how you're putting it back together. So I'm just making sure it's aligned. I'm trying my best to get this pin in here, and that way we can start stitching. And once we top stitch that part, you're going to do that. You're going to slide your wire back in, and what I did is just a, you'll see I did like a tack stitch where it's just going to hold the wire in place at the top of the bra, so I don't have to worry about it sliding out and poking me. See? Nice and lined up. Okay, so for the channel, I'm going to straight stitch. I'm having trouble getting it there. There we go. I'm going to straight stitch on both sides of the channel, making sure I leave enough room to put the wire back in while making sure I'm catching the waist piece. If that makes sense. So here you'll see I'm stitching very slowly, just making sure I'm getting everything exact. And if you know industrial machines, sometimes it's hard to sew slow. Well, for me, if you're heavy-footed, it's hard to sew slow. So I'm getting that, and this bra is almost done. I'm so excited. And I realize I keep calling it a channel. It's basically a casing. It's the casing for your underwire. I don't know why I keep calling it a channel. I don't know. I guess depending on where you are or what you were taught, or, you know, call it different things. So as you see, this side looks really good. I'm just cutting the threads, cleaning it up. Look at this. And I am ready to put the wire back in this bra. Now, as soon as I find it, I was trying to make sure I went through the casing and not like the outside. All right, I got it in there. I'm just checking it, flip it over, and of course I need to poke that in, and then I'm just showing you where I'll be putting a stitch at to keep the wire from coming out and poking me, because nobody likes that. If you ever had that experience, it's not great. All right, so that is done. One side is complete and it looks good. I'm going to do the other side. All right, and my bra is done. I just saved myself probably about $60 using a scrap fabric from a hem. If this video was helpful, please go ahead and leave me a comment below. And if you like videos like this or want to see more, let me know. What else could I show you to help you save some money? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.